Film begins by showing a girl who is going somewhere in an injured state. The girl looks very scared. She has a gun and a bag full of money, which she was looking at again and again. After reaching a place, the tire of her car gets punctured. She starts walking ahead with her bag and gun. Then a car comes from behind and collides with it, killing the girl. There are 4 friends in this car. These 4 are going to their cabin for hunting, and now they get out of the car in fear. They do not understand what to do now. Then Paul's eyes fall on the bag containing money. After seeing it, he tells his friends that our life is going to change because he was the most greedy person. But the other 3 friends are scared because a girl's dead body is lying in front of them. John tells them that we should take the money and go to the police. On this, Paul says that the police will keep this money with themselves and implicate us in a murder case. Is this what you want? Now, John was not feeling all this right. But the other 2 also support Paul because, firstly, they did not want to go to jail. Second, they want to change their lives with money because greed had also entered their hearts. His friend asks Paul what to do with the body now. So Paul says that after reaching the cabin, we will bury the body somewhere in the forest and then divide the money and forget this matter forever. After which they put the girl's body and bag in the car. They were about to leave when a police car stops there, which is actually looking for the same girl. Seeing it, Paul asks everyone to remain calm so that the police officer does not get suspicious. The officer first looks at the girl's car, after which he starts interrogating these 4. Paul says that we did not see any girl there. Our car had suddenly stopped in the middle of the way, so we stopped to fix it. The officer says that your car looks brand new. Then how did it malfunction? Paul replies that we do not know that. It just stopped suddenly after coming here. The officer says that it's okay, but let me have a look at it. Now, Paul was afraid that the officer might see the dead body lying inside. That's why he picks up the girl's gun and points it at the policeman. Seeing this, the other friends get very scared. That friend and the officer tell him to put the gun down, but Paul shoots and kills that policeman too. Seeing this, Paul's other friends cannot believe that he killed the policeman, to which his friend says that now we should think about what to do next. Paul says that we will leave the body of this officer here so that the police think that the girl has killed this officer and run away. After which they sit in their car and leave for the cabin. Reaching the cabin, we see that the place was completely deserted and there was a dense forest spread around. John was very upset with whatever happened. That's why he does not talk to anyone. Both the friends were digging a pit to bury the dead body, while Paul started counting the money so that he could divide it equally among the 4 friends. Now, when John called his wife, she said, "I have been calling you since morning, but you have not answered even one of my calls. I can know the reason." On this, John says, "I am absolutely fine, and I will return home soon after the hunt. You don't worry." After this, we see another man named Sidney. He reaches the same place where the girl's car was parked. He looks inside, but there is nothing there. Then he saw on the ground that there is a lot of blood lying there. So now he understands where he has to go. He takes the car and directly reaches the cabin of those friends where they are burying the dead body. Seeing him, all 4 of them were surprised. Paul asks him, "Who are you?" So Sidney says that you have a bag of mine. I have come to take it. Give it to me, and I will let you 4 go. Now they do not understand how Sidney reached here. Paul points a gun at him and tells his friend to search him, but he does not have any weapon, etc. He once again tells them to give me my bag, and I will go from here. Paul asks, "How did you reach here? Does anyone else know about us?" So Sidney says that I don't know about anyone else, but I know everything about you. In fact, there are many things that I know apart from you. That is why I am advising you to give me my bag and I should quietly go from here. Now they do not understand how he is so calm. Neither is he getting angry, nor is he saying anything to them. Then they hear some sounds from the forest, and they think that maybe Sydney. Men are aiming at them. So John and his friend take guns and go to see the forest. Paul asks Sydney, "How many men do you have in the forest?" Sydney says, "I came here alone," but Paul does not believe him and takes him down to the basement and ties him up. On the other hand, when John and his friend are in the forest, they find a trap there which was set to catch animals. They were looking at the traps when they see a man there. Seeing the gun in the hands of both of them, the man gets scared and starts running away from there. But both of them catch him and bring him to the cabin. Paul asks him, "Where are your other companions?" The man says, crying, "I don't know what you are saying. My house is nearby. Please let me go to my daughter and wife. I have not done anything." The man was very scared. It was clear from his voice that he was telling the truth. John says, "Look at his condition. I don't think he knows anything." But Paul says that now he has seen us. If he goes to the police, all four of us will be in jail. That is why we have to kill him. But this time, someone else will have to do this work. So unwillingly, John's friend says, "I will kill him." That man was begging for his life, and seeing this, John's friend is unable to shoot at him. But then Paul points a gun at him and forces him to shoot. So out of helplessness, John's friend shoots at him, which kills that man right there. Now John's friend goes into shock for some time because he killed a person. Now John starts disposing of the bodies. Paul comes to Sydney. Sydney tells him that you killed an innocent person, while you knew that he was innocent. Now you have started getting pleasure in hunting people. You are not doing all this to save yourself, but you have started getting used to all this. Like it is an addiction. Paul is surprised to hear these words of Sydney. Now when John comes inside, Sydney again tells them that I am telling you all for the last time. Give me my money back, and I will leave from here. Hearing this, Paul's friend says that if we give a part of the money to him too, then I think there should be no issue in this. But Paul does not agree to this, on which Sydney also says that I do not want any share. Either I will take everything from here or nothing. Hearing this, Paul points a gun at his head. Sydney again remained silent and says in a very low tone that you cannot kill me. And yes, why don't you tell your friends about California? Hearing this, Paul is completely shocked. He asks Sydney, "How do you know all this?" Then John also asks him what happened in California. Now, at first, Paul avoids the topic, but then he tells that last year when I went to California on a business trip, I met a girl there. She came with me of her own free will. But the next morning, she started threatening me that if I did not give her the money she demanded, she would go to the police and tell them that I raped her. After a long argument, Paul killed the girl in anger. Then he chopped her body and disposed it. That means Paul had already committed a murder. Hearing this, his friends do not believe that he can do this too. So Paul tells them that I got scared and I did all that to save my life. Now in the meantime, we see John's friend, who was very angry. He comes to the basement and points a gun at Paul and starts saying that, "Because of you, I killed a man, and I am regretting this." So Paul reminds him that you yourself came forward to kill him. Hearing this, John's friend was very stunned, and taking advantage of this opportunity, Paul snatches the gun from him and points it at him and beats him up. Paul's friend and John try to stop him, but when he does not stop, Paul's friend hits the gun on his head and makes him unconscious. When Paul regains consciousness, he finds himself in the basement with Sydney. Upstairs, Paul's friend and John are talking about the money. John says that we will hide this money somewhere in the forest until a solution is found because ever since this bag has come into our lives, we have lost our humanity. In the basement, Sydney provokes Paul that your friend has taken the money and gone away. It seems he will not include you in his plan. Then Paul angrily runs after John. But then John's friend shoots at him, due to which he falls there. Then they think that maybe Paul has died. That is why John's friend goes to the basement and starts crying. Sydney says, "What is the use of crying now? There is no use. You did not want to kill that man. Still you killed him, and now you shot your friend. Do you think that your crime will end by crying?" On the other side, we see John. He saw a hollow tree in the forest, and he hid that bag inside it. After some time, when Paul opened his eyes, he quickly hid behind a tree. Actually, the bullet had hit his shoulder, and he had survived, and now he understood that my friends have turned against me. Here, Sydney asks Paul's friend, "Do you trust John?" To this he replies that, yes, I trust John." Sydney says, "You are thinking of making your life better by taking this money, isn't it? But let me tell you, this money has not done any good to anyone till date." On saying this, the friend asks him to keep quiet. Sydney then said that, "Give me my money, and I will let you go alive." But that friend does not understand his point. Now, when John was returning to the cabin, Paul comes in front of him and points a gun at him and says, "Take me to the bag, or else I will shoot you." John throws his gun. He said, "I am very tired of all this. If you want money, then I will take you there." But on the way, he cleverly takes Paul to the path where traps were set to catch animals. Then Paul's leg gets stuck in a trap and he starts screaming in pain. But John picks up his gun and runs away from there without helping. He reaches the cabin and tells everything to his friends. After listening to everything, John's friend says, "Paul is our friend. After all, we cannot leave him to die like this." Then Sydney says, "You guys still have a chance. Give me my money." When Paul's friend again started threatening Sydney, Sydney says, "I know everything about you. How are you betraying your friends?" Before Sydney could say anything more, Paul's friend shoots him in the head, and then a strange sound starts echoing there, and they all start screaming in pain because the sound is hurting their ears a lot. After some time, they reach the place where John hid the money. Paul sees them on the way, and he also silently follows them. On the way, Paul finds John's gun, which he keeps with him. Moving ahead, John asks Paul's friend, "Are you hiding something from me?" Paul's friend says, "Yes, and forgive me. I and your wife are related." Hearing this, John is quite shocked. He says in anger, "I did so much good to you. Both of you cheated me together. All this was going on for so long, but you never told me." Saying this, John points the gun at his head, but does not fire, and says that we will leave from here with the money, and after this, I will not see your face for the rest of my life. There we see Sydney, who suddenly opens his eyes. That means he had become alive again, which means that he was not a human. On the other hand, the three of them go to the tree where John hid the money. His friend says that now we should go to Paul. Then Paul's friend says, "Forget Paul. He might have died by now." Saying this, Paul shoots him, and he dies there because he was silently keeping an eye on them. Seeing this, John and his friend go and hide behind the tree. Then John's friend says to Paul, "You are our friend. We were coming to pick you up. I am throwing my gun and coming out. You also throw your gun." On this, Paul says, "You come out first." Although John forbids him from doing so, but John's friend trusts Paul and comes out. He also had a bag in his hand, but then John's friend sees Sydney from behind Paul, and he is stunned to see her. The bag falls from his hand. He thinks, how is he alive? Paul is unable to understand anything, and in this confusion, he shoots John's friend. That means now only Paul and John were left alive. Meanwhile, Sydney drags John's friend to a tree. Then he starts taking out his blood with an injection so that he can feed himself. Give it to himself. And from here we come to know that Sydney is actually a vampire. John's friend was counting his last breaths when Sydney tells him that you humans are like dogs. If you give a piece of meat to dogs, they start fighting with their own friends. Here the only difference is of money. Otherwise, both humans and animals are equal in greed. Animals run after food and humans run after money. Similarly, I threw money among you, and you people have forgotten your friendship. Yes, Sydney did all this to test them all, and he had been doing this for many years. On the other hand, as soon as John takes his head out, Paul shoots at him. He thinks that maybe John is dead, but John was still alive. That is why, as Paul comes to take the bag of money, John shouts "bullet" at him and kills him with it. But John was also about to die now because he was badly injured. Then Sydney comes to him and makes him drink his blood. He says, "This is a gift for you from me. With this, you will become immortal and will never die. You people are very greedy, who can do anything for their benefit. And now I am giving you a new life." Saying this, he leaves from there with the bag full of money and the gun. In the morning, he puts that bag in that girl's car. After a while, we see that girl coming towards the car. That means she was alive. She did not die that day, which makes us understand that she is also immortal. The girl takes the bag and starts her work again, which she has been doing with Sydney for so many years. That is, testing humans and hunting them and collecting blood for herself. Now we see two more people at a place who are surprised to see a bag full of money, and greed also arises in their mind. From this, we understand that now those people are going to become Sydney's next victims. Then we also see John, who was alive. Obviously, he too had become a vampire by drinking Sydney's blood and had become immortal and had joined Sydney in this mission. Would the story of this movie have ended here?